Hi guys, welcome back. In today's video, I'm going to be telling you about the 11 best nerdy romances that I read in 2019. So I knew that I wanted to make a video talking about some of my favorite romances that I read in the year. And so I sat down and made a list, and reflecting on that, I realized that most of them are in some way nerdy romances, have nerdy elements to them or nerdy characters. And I will say that this year, one of the things that I learned about myself as a romance reader is that I love a good nerdy romance. One or both characters being nerdy elements to it. I love it. It's my favorite thing. And so today I wanted to share with you my 11 favorites that I have read this year. Not all of these were published in 2019, although I will say most of them were. I think, let me see. Yeah, actually, only one of these books was not published in 2019. There's one backlist title I wanted to talk about because I loved it so much. And I don't even own a physical copy of it, which I need to get. But yeah, one other thing I do want to mention about this list before we get started is that most of these are adult romances that do have steamy, more explicit scenes in them. So if that is not something that you like in your romance, be aware that that is the case, I think, with all of the adult romances that I'm going to talk about. Yes, with all of the adult romances I'm going to talk about, that is the case. However, I also did include two of my favorite YA romances that I read this year, and those ones do not have explicit content in them. So just heads up, for depending on your taste and level of interest in romances, wanted to let you know. With that said, let's go ahead and dive in. First up, of course, is the one that nobody should be surprised about. This was on my favorite books of 2019 list in my top 12, and is in fact probably my favorite romance of 2019, and that is Well Met by Jenn DeLuca. I ate this up. Absolutely loved it. This is an adult romance that is set at a Renaissance fair, and it was just so much fun and so cute. It's kind of like a irritated hate to love sort of slow burn romance where their characters working at the Ren Fair, one of whom is as being like a pirate and a wench, which like I was living for, like each other in character, and then that eventually spreads to out of character as well. So I just loved it. It totally worked for me. I cannot wait to read more from Jenn DeLuca. This was her debut, and we're going to be getting more in 2020. We're getting another one. Well Played, I think, is going to be book 2. I really loved this one. The next book that is one of my nerdy favorites this year is The Wedding Party by Jasmine Guillory. I love a nerdy beta hero. I love a nerdy beta hero, and this is one of the books that taught me that, because like, this book was like candy for me, tropey candy. It was so much fun. I've been a little hit and miss with Jasmine Guillory, but this one totally worked for me. It follows a couple who are hiding the fact that they're actually hooking up with each other because their best friend is getting married and they don't want to like cause weirdness in the wedding. And so they get up to these really funny antics trying to hide the fact that they're getting together, and I just thought it was hilarious. But the guy in this, Theo, is like my favorite. He's totally a beta male hero, which I love, and he's super nerdy. He gets really excited about spreadsheets, and it's just the most adorable thing. So if you like antics like that, and if you like nerdy beta heroes, I'm gonna recommend you try The Wedding Party. I will say I listened to this one on audio and I liked it really well that way, and ended up deciding to also buy a finished copy of it. I've heard some people say they had mixed experiences reading this physically, but part of that might just be whether or not you get along with Jasmine Guillory's style in general. I liked it. It made me laugh. I thought it was super cute, super swoony. I was a fan. The next nerdy romance that I want to recommend is A Girl Like Her by Talia Hibbert. I have really fallen in love with Talia Hibbert. She's one of my favorite contemporary romance authors, although she definitely writes some pretty steamy romance, I would say. But I just really appreciate the characters that she writes and the diversity of experiences that she writes into them. And among my favorites this year was A Girl Like Her. A Girl Like Her follows a heroine who is Black, autistic, fat, and super nerdy, and the really kind of quiet, nerdy beta hero who becomes her friend, and then more than a friend. And this was just the cutest, sweetest romance. All of the representation with the heroine that I mentioned is own voices for Talia Hibbert, which I really love. and it's just so cute, and the hero is so sweet with her and so wonderful, respecting her and appreciating who she is, and like not having a hard time managing with some of the things that come with her autism, and they just really connect over like comic books and Marvel, and I loved it so much. So much. It was really cute. And yeah, I would recommend definitely checking her out, and if you're looking for a nerdy romance, that's a good one. Next is my favorite nerdy romance novella of the year from my other favorite contemporary romance author, and that is Can't Escape Love by Alyssa Cole. This is a novella in the Reluctant Royals series, which I adore. All the books in the series, I think, in my opinion, are fantastic, and in this case we get a really cute nerdy romance, also with a diverse cast of characters. Our heroine is a entrepreneurial Black woman who is disabled. She's in a wheelchair, and she runs a media empire around this website, Girls with Glasses, that is all for nerdy girls, specifically nerdy girls of color, and her falling for this Vietnamese guy, and it's just really cute. It also involves like planning for a convention and cosplay and like geeking out about nerdy things, and I just loved it. It was so freaking adorable and also super diverse and sexy and really great. So it's another good one, and it's very short. Doesn't take long to read, so if you're looking for a quick one, this is great. Next is the one backlist title on this list, and one that I really need to go buy myself a copy of because I enjoyed it so much. This is A Week to Be Wicked by Tessa Dare. If you're looking for a historical romance with a nerdy heroine and a closeted nerdy hero, this is a good one. It follows kind of a wallflower nerdy girl who is trying to present a science paper at this meeting where it's only supposed to be men, and she can't travel alone, so she convinces this guy to travel with her, who's kind of known for being a bit of a rake and has this reputation. And along the way, of course, like some steamy romance develops between the two of them, but they have so much hilarious nerdy banter and like nerdy bedroom banter, which I am so here for. I just loved it so much. This was a whole lot of fun, and it turns out he's kind of like this closet nerd, and it's great. So like if you like nerdy hero and heroine, I think this is a really good one. Next up is one of the YA picks that I have for this year, and this I just thoroughly enjoyed. It was such a joy. It is The Princess and the Fangirl by Ashley Poston. This is the sequel to Geekerella, which I also loved. These are very heavy in fandom culture and fandom references, which I am so here for. Some people seem to find it annoying, but I just loved it. This is kind of a retelling of The Prince and the Pauper, but at a fandom convention and with romance mixed in. There are two main romances that develop through the course of this book, and they are diverse in a lot of different ways. One of the couples includes a white girl and a Asian male love interest, and the other one is a female-female relationship where it's a white girl and a Black girl who develop feelings for each other. I just thought this was really fun, really cute. It involves two girls who are lookalikes, and one of them is a celebrity and one of them is just like a normal person, and they end up swapping places and things happen, and it's a whole lot of fun, really cute. So if you're looking for some like super geeky romance set at a convention, I would recommend checking this one out. Okay, the next ones on this list are less explicitly nerdy but have nerdy elements to them that I really enjoyed. First up, we have The Princess Plan by Julia London. This is a historical romance that also has a murder mystery subplot to it, and the heroine is a spinster in her late 20s who secretly, along with her sister and best friend, writes a ladies' gazette with gossip in it, and it's really fun. And so she goes to this ball where there's a foreign prince there to gather gossip for this paper that they write, and has some interesting interactions with him, and they end up working together to solve this murder mystery. And it's just a lot of fun. There's a lot of like banter back and forth. There's these research kind of quasi-nerdy elements to it. She's also really into like knitting, and it's fun, and it's definitely got some of those like historical nerdy vibes, even if it's a little less explicit. Next is a 2019 release that is super cute, and you've probably been seeing this everywhere. I am dying to get the next one, but this is the Bromance Book Club by Lyssa K. Adams. This cover is just perfection, and when I heard the premise of it, I knew I had to have it. Notice it's a guy with jeans pocket with a historical romance in his back pocket. So this follows a group of guys where most of them, but not all of them, are professional baseball players, and they have a secret book club where they read romance novels and study them to try to figure out how to improve their own romantic relationships. This is the first in a series. The main relationship that's focused on in here is a marriage that is kind of falling apart, and this guy gets inducted into the Bromance book club and is given a historical romance to study and make notes in to try to figure out what is really wrong at the root of his relationship and work on himself and hopefully work on saving his marriage. It's funny, it's fun, it's heartwarming. I loved everything about it, and to me the whole idea of these guys like studying romance novels like this I just think is hilarious and also feels like surprisingly nerdy as well, so I thought this would be a good one to include on the list. Definitely recommend it. I love this. And it says, the first rule of book club, you don't talk about the book club. Next we have The Austin Playbook by Lucy Parker. This was a very, very cute romance. It is set in London's West End, and my friend Mara over Books Like Whoa has described this as like a Hufflepuff Slytherin romance, which I think is pretty accurate. The heroine is a sort of bubbly actress who really enjoys and is good at doing comedies and romantic comedies, but has family pressuring her to do more serious dramas, and a very Slytherin kind of brusque theater critic, and their romance falling in love with each other. And the reason that I put it in this category is that because there's also a mystery piece here. They spend some of their time doing a lot of research into history and uncovering secrets and family secrets, and so it's got like a little bit of a nerdy vibe to it, and it's just a lot of fun. But this is more like theater nerd vibes and family history nerd vibes, but it's a lot of fun. It's really sweet, really swoony, and I would recommend checking it out. Then we have a historical romance from one of my new favorite historical romance authors, and that is Beverly Jenkins. This is Rebel, the first book in her Women Who Dare series. The thing that I love about Beverly Jenkins is that her romances always teach you so much. She does a ton of research and puts history into her books that is little known history of people of color from different places and areas, and it's great. This one is set just post-Civil War in Louisiana and follows a woman who has gone down there to try to teach reading and writing to recently released slaves who have not been educated, and that is hurting their potential chances of employment and bettering their lives. And so she's kind of nerdy in the sense that she cares a lot about education. She wants to be a teacher, but it's got this very steamy romance with this guy. It's, you know, it's fun. So you get some steam, you get like some drama, you get some interesting revelations. I'm really excited to read on in the series, and I just generally love Beverly Jenkins. And the last book on this list is the other YA pick. This is Love from A to Z by S.K. Ali. This is going to be your sweet, funny YA rom-com with Muslim teen characters that's really heartfelt and where their faith deeply matters to them. I loved this. I think it's so great, and I think it also does a good job of showing how a person can be religious and also feminist, and do things to be actively against racism. It's really, really great, but it's also such a sweet relationship and romance that develops from this friendship. It follows a American Muslim girl who goes to stay with family after some things at her school involving a racist teacher and her getting suspended. So she ends up leaving early for spring break on a trip to Doha, where she stays with her aunt, and along the way she meets a boy who is Asian and a convert to Islam. So it's interesting, it kind of follows his journey towards that, and they're really, really sweet romance that develops, and it's so cute. And the boy has multiple sclerosis, so it also deals with chronic illness. I just think S.K. Ali's, both of the books that I've read from her have been really fantastic, and I would highly recommend them. And yeah, definitely one of my favorite YA romances of 2019. And in terms of why I'm including it on this list is both of them in different ways are kind of nerdy, and part of their connection is what they don't realize is both of them keep these journals where they document different things in their lives, and I won't get into details about it, but it's kind of like a nerdy thing to do. They're both like into school in different ways and like kind of slightly nerdy characters, but it's really, really great. It's really sweet. So there you go. Those are my 11 favorite nerdy romances that I read in 2019, and just generally like most of my favorite romances that I read in the year. Talk to me in the comments down below. Let me know any of your thoughts or feelings on any of the books that I talked about in the video today. And for your question of the day, tell me what you like in a romance. Do you like nerdy romances? And if so, recommend one to me. What's a good one you think I might like? If you guys like this video, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you want to see more. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.